No answers? Well, I'll give you my answer, and that is, okay, 0. I would say I do it 60 to 70%. That would be my answer. I even convinced my best friend to do the same. Not necessarily she will use it all the time, but once in a while I installed an application on her phone. So that is what Search GPT is saying. And why? Anybody can search. Well, that is because when you search the second time, you come to the same ground zero. When you search with ChatGPT, it's a dialogue. So I think in 2 years, and that's Andrew Ng's prediction, in 2 years, he says a dialogue search will completely replace regular search, or almost completely. So that is the news. Now, I have not been able to even sign up for the invitation. It says you will select an email, but I didn't get any. All right, so maybe you will be able to sign up for the waiting list. That's what the news were. Now, we had one question left from the previous one, and that's here. But before, well, let's go into the new course. The new course is about embedding models. I'll show you what it is about, and we already have that in our learning path. So if you go to learning path, and embedding models is already here. It is even here. It's not guaranteed to run as yet, but at least I can show you. Okay, and right away, let me show you the most important pictures right here, images. So what's the idea? We all know that the idea of building AI today as it exists is RAG. And RAG stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation. Generation comes from ChatGPT, GPT, that's G, generative. And the idea is that since you don't own that model, instead, you can only change what you send it. And what you send it is a question. Seems to be easy. But you also wanted to know more. You wanted to know additional information about your situation. That may be additional documents. So you prepare these documents in advance. They may be 100, 1,000, 1,000,000. All of that you put into a database. It's called vector store because it's based on vectors, and these are not just vectors. These are vectors that react to the meaning. So about each fragment of the text that you store, you know its meaning as it is expressed in a long vector. How long? Between 500 numbers to 2,000 numbers. That is usually the number. So now you have all your data. You prepared all your data in a database. It's usually called vector database. And now your question goes first to this search engine by meaning. What you get back is the list of relevant documents, list of documents that are close in meaning. And then with that, you go to LLM, large language model, or ChatGPT, which is a large language model, and get the answer. That is the regular schema, and it has a lot of problems. That's the prevalent architecture. But right now, people are working with the, can I do it better? That's what they propose here in this course, 39. And it's a company called Victara, that's their name. And what they do is improve the first step. So we remember the first step is storing the data in a vector database where you discover relevant content by meaning, okay? But it turns out that you have a couple problems. First of all, well, whatever is the meaning of one guy or girl is not the same meaning as yours. So you might want to adjust your model. It's called embedding model. And it is a result of training. It's not a formula. It's already LLM. It's already if not large, then at least a reasonable sized language model training. So that's what they improve. Number one, they improve that, and they give you a way to create your own embedding, as opposed to what we do normally. We copy. I wanted to say steal, but we don't steal. We copy the open embedding of ChatGPT. They say that for different situations, you could have a different one. And the number one problem is this. Number two is speed. So what they do is with these models, which are now under your control, they put them into memory and they control how you put them into memory because they're pretty big. Maybe they don't fit into memory. That is what they do. And it's their approach to essentially RAG model, but now with a couple improvements. Okay, now the whole story is told to you right here. It's this course, if you want to go to the course, it's these, it's that repository if you go to our repository, and if you wait a little, it will also be verified to run a new environment. That is the next course, and usually, as you know, usually a new course comes at least once a week. Now, that changes. That changes because it used to be one new course every 2 weeks. And then they opened the flood and there was 2 courses every week. Now it's back. It's back a little bit. It's 1 course a week. And let me show you something else with the previous one, the ones that we looked at yesterday. And then I'll give you my opinion. So we had a question. We compared that approach meaning Victara approach. We compared that and Cohere approach. There was yet another one approach and the regular RAG architecture. Let's look at that. That was our question. That is Cohere. They give you yet another vector database and you do the same thing. You take your embeddings, you put them into that database, you do semantic search. In the end, you send it to the model. So how is that different from RAG? Well, I asked ChatGPT and he was right on one count and wrong on another count. I just show you. What it said was this. It said that Cohere gives you a choice of their models. So a bunch of new models. Now you would say, not a big deal. I have a very good models published by others. What's special about this is that it is specifically into linguistics, specifically into language, and as such into 100 languages. First of all, they are interested in multi language companies, multi-language repositories. Secondly, they're very specific for linguists, for people who do some kind of language tasks, not just talking about the world. No. So they give you accuracy, they give you speed. That, of course, is what everybody claims. But what they give you is it's great at languages. That's what it does. For example, they could have 100 different languages, and the question can come up in any of these languages. And that is useful to be flexible here, because we know that one of the famous openings into hacking AI is through going through a different language. And why is that? Well, that's because the AI is tamed manually. It's not human in the loop. It's tamed by the humans who tell it what to say or what not to say. But this training goes only in specific languages, so you can hack it pretty easily in other languages. So that is one example, but another example, if you're very specific, like you want to do sentiment analysis. So ChatGPT will give you sentiment analysis, but they are more precise. Well, okay, now we say an interesting thing. a little variation in the RAG. It's what they do, right? Well, what I showed you with embedding models, that was also another little variation in the RAG. We were looking, I'll remind you about that. We were looking at vector approach. So what's the difference? Why are the new things coming up? Well, Victoria said we are also comparing ourselves to RAG, and you can do it yourself, but look, we give you additional advantages. Well, I think we're very close to the point of saturation. That is already my thought that I'm offering to you today. Because, look, the number of courses published every week is less, right? It's back to one. And why do I need this new approach becomes a question. Up until now, the first 30 or 40 courses was obvious. It's new. I've never seen it. I couldn't do it before. So, for example, that one, the one that I was looking at here, also has one additional thing, and that is, well, sometimes you need keyword searches. Sometimes you still need them because they're more precise. They find exactly what you're looking for. And sometimes you need AI. So yes, and you can combine. But again, the question is, go here, I can do it myself. I can combine the keyword search and the AI search, and you really don't blend it. You have two lines of code doing two different approaches. How do you reconcile them? In other words, what I'm saying is that we will keep learning, we will keep looking at new things, and here are the two new things. But maybe it's good news. Maybe you will not have to learn all that much in the future because it's coming to a certain point where nothing new is invented. All right, that's the news, and that's the deep investigation that I promised. But yet another course, and that other course, I'll give you the link here, but I prepared some slides. So to talk about that, I'll open the slide deck right here. And this new course is about advanced prompt engineering. What is advanced prompt engineering? I remind you the whole story. The whole story was that when ChatGPT came up, so some people heard the term prompt engineering and they said, okay, I have 20,000 people in my company who can be prompt engineers. And I hear that each such prompt engineer is making $300,000 or $400,000 a year. So that's a great profession. I'll teach them in a 3-day course. They will be prompt engineers. None of the kind. I mean, that is not at all the real story. First of all, it was debunked that they do earn that money. And secondly, it was not that easy. So that is what this course is about. And the first question that it asks is why? Why do you need prompt engineering? That's why. But let's talk about this. How many people have seen the news? And the news are, and I'm prejudiced, the news are of the sort, I'm a newspaper reporter and I woke up, drank my coffee, and asked ChatGPT a question. Who has seen such articles? All right, I'll wait till you tell me who has seen that kind of approach. And you can just say +1. I've seen such an approach. For example, they will tell you, well, I asked it to compose in the style of Longfellow, and it was not close to Longfellow. Well, of course, maybe Longfellow was a better writer. But the whole idea that I can say something and critique what ChatGPT answers is, I would say, dead on arrival, even though it brings you clicks. And that is because it's kind of, I got into the car and I broke my garage door. That's kind of question. Have you learned how to drive the car? No. So wasn't it dangerous? Well, in a newspaper, you can write anything. But in any case, wouldn't you think that it's better to learn how to use this tool? It's not perfect. It's not intuitive. You can, talk to ChatGPT, that anybody can do, but it's a tool. It's not a universal tool, not perfect tool. So it comes with a warning, and the warning is that don't trust it. Every system says ChatGPT or any other system can hallucinate, can invent things, and so can't use it without what? Without training. That's what this course is about. So first of all, it emphasizes that if you just say, please write an email for me, it will write, but it will not be you. It will be ChatGPT. And it will not be the email that you really want. You want it to be a helper. That's available today. You want it to be a helper for you. For that, you need to apply your work and a lot of training, as it turns out. So you can do it. You can make sure that it doesn't hallucinate, because if you don't do it, you can do like this. Write an article about, or an email about the new course that I published, or about the new product that we made, and not tell it anything about the product. It will greatly oblige. It will write. Let's try it. Let's not be just words, but let's go to ChatGPT. Write the email about new arrival AI. What? Okay. Did it hesitate? No. Its style is, of course, right? And then it invented. Did I say that it is something like smart recommendations? Did they say anything of that? No. Where is it getting that from? That is called hallucinations. That's what it is. And that's because it is trained to guess what it would look like, not what it would mean. Think of that. It's really trained to look like the right thing, but it only looks like the right thing. It's not the right thing at all. Nevertheless, don't say that, okay, let's throw out into the garbage because it doesn't work. No, it's you. You don't know how to use it. So back to the slides. That's what the course is about. You need to tell it how to act as you. You need to tell it which particular style. And you don't have to say study my writings. No, you can say, take out all this pomp, take out the imaginative things. You are hallucinating, so don't do it. Don't talk about the things that you don't actually know. I know that you will do it. I know that you, ChatGPT, are able to do such things, so don't do it to me. That's number one. And as it goes, you will find out that you will tell it exactly how to do it. Okay, so then your goal will be to use that as a helper. It is a great helper. You're not a tester for it, and nobody listens to you unless you're a news reporter. Okay, so nobody is interested in what little bugs you found. Yeah, it doesn't work the way you wanted, but you didn't tell it what you wanted. So it's a bad prompt to say, write my email. But it is a good prompt when you say, write my email. But don't say anything that you know nothing about. When that happens, then it will drop any pretense to know anything. And that will be bad, because some of that you do want. Okay, that's what the whole course is about. It's not obvious at all. It's a big bunch of good advice. And my personal opinion is that it's better than all the technical courses. So if we go back, okay, remove that ChatGPT, and we go back right here, all of these courses, really all of them, invent pretty weak examples. As examples, that's pretty weak. Maybe one was good. Talking to your database, about the health related news, okay, health related statistics. That was a pretty interesting example. All the rest, they were weak as far as what I'm trying to do. They were only strong about how to do it. Well, that one is different. It's not his first course. It's his fifth, I think, course. The name of the man is Jules White, and you will see the rest. That's your link, and you will see the rest here. Okay, I've been talking for quite a while. What I will do is this. I will stop share, okay, and I will go to the chat, and I will answer your questions, like Swapna or Shopna. She says, please share the link to Excel. Very gladly, I will do it. That's the link, even though you can also find it in our class. Okay, that's what you can do. As I showed you, when you look at that, it will have the course itself, our version of this course in our repository, the instructions on how to run it. And from then on, you know what to do. You copy it, you start modifying it, you adjust it to your use case. And I think that's where the whole revolution is now going on. It's kind of, it's a bit on horse maybe, but it's kind of, I have electricity. What devices I'm going to invent? That's the whole world. How do I know? Well, that's because once in a while there are hurricanes and then we don't have electricity. Then you feel how much, how many devices you have. Well, the other way around also, the world is now revolutionized by AI electricity, and that's what we're talking about, how to use it, what kind of devices you are going to invent. So you will be getting a recording of that. You can also, good question. So Copilot, I know that it's a thing that's supposed to be very, very intuitive. And I know that's Microsoft, who is the maker and seller of Copilot, introduces that as something that you can just start using. So my first advice will be, go to ChatGPT and just ask this question. How to learn about Copilot? You notice one thing. You notice that very often it first says that I'm searching the internet. Now that must be a popular question. It didn't have to search, but it gives you all of the advice. Okay. But the truth, it's a good question. Yes, I referred you to ChatGPT, and as you read it, you'll see it's very, very generic, right? So it depends. It depends upon what do you want to use it for. So what I can do is take your question, and I'm going back to chat, taking your question, and putting it as supposed the suggested next time item. Here you are. Here you are, and that will be the next one. Okay. I just heard from my bookkeeper, and I already started the conversation with her. Now that you can talk to your data, to your database, I asked, does she have the clients who want to talk to their data? And she didn't, but she said then that her one of the clients is being introduced to Copilot by Microsoft. He's a Microsoft consultant. So if he does it, we can do it too. And that's the next time. I'll put it the 9th, August 9th. All right. So thank you very much, everyone. Be well. Have a great week and a great year.